Upon creating a new song in GarageBand Mobile, you'll land on this, where there are tracks and live loops. Now we can go back to tracks to look through the instruments, the keyboard, drums, and we've got the amp, which we can connect to an external physical instrument, an audio recorder, string instruments, got the bass, the guitar, and instruments from around the world. Also got the drummer, and we will not talk about external connections. We've got the sound library where we can download new sounds. Let's dive into the keyboard and see what we can do here. So as you can see, we can play the instrument over here, and we can turn on or off for the sustain pedal, and we can also switch the keyboard's mode, so we can scroll through different notes, different keys, or we can have it stable with the glissando. And we can select different scales here. So if we select a certain scale, let's say minor pentatonic, all the notes you see here are of the minor pentatonic scale. Also, we can change how the keyboard is laid out, so it is best suited for your comfort. You can have it double layered like this, or we can stick to the regular single layer. We can also turn on the arpeggiator and change the different settings that come along with the arpeggiator, and you can go to chords on the right side and play different chords here. This is a C major, and hopefully this sounds the most the keyboard instrument and this part of the interface. Also, we can change instruments by simply clicking on the instrument icon, I suppose, and we can click on the top icon, so we get into this track progress or MIDI sort of section. We can turn on the pen to draw notes, another way to produce is to go back to the instrument section and record live onto the keyboard. And here we can expand and edit our notes, and we can go to the settings and we can quantize our notes here. There are lots more settings, and we can lower or increase the volume, pan to the right or the left. We can turn on our compressor, the ratio, the attack, the makeup gain. And we can also turn on the visual EQ. So this is an equalizer for the frequencies of the certain instrument you have selected. And now back to the settings. We've got more master effects like the echo and the reverb. Now we can go to the track settings to change the type of metronome. Say we change it to the hi-hat, so the sound of the metronome will be a hi-hat. Now we can also change the tempo of the song, can increase it or decrease it, can hold on to the increase decrease buttons to rapidly increase or decrease, change the time signature of our song, and one of the most useful features is changing the whole key signature of the sound. So you can raise the whole song by a few notes, so that it's up to your preference. And when you lower it back, so this is just an example. You can fade the song out. We've also got a personal notepad that we can type in anything here in case you might forget, or in case you have something to indicate in the song. And then we've got the jam session and more advanced settings, which we will not go through, because most of the time you will not be using them. And after that, we've now got the instrument and the track progression interface, I suppose. And now we can edit our MIDI, or we can go to the settings, turn on looping, quantize a specific MIDI, raise octaves and semitones, or increase or decrease the speed, and also change the velocity of the particular MIDI. Then we've got the basic settings: splitting, cutting, copying, and pasting the specific MIDI. This can be seen in many other digital audio workstations, but this will come in handy, of course. Now back to the instruments. So certain instruments, like the bass for instance, will have something called the autoplay, where you essentially let the program play by itself, software play, if you're too lazy to play. And now back to the keyboard. Here you can go to the Alchemy settings, or you can also buy download new sounds, and most of these sounds will have more settings than the usual instruments. Lots more knobs you can turn on or off. You can increase and decrease, so you get the sound that you desire. So the amp is used to connect to an external physical device. And here, let's go to the audio recorder. You can record the audio and change it as you wish, although there may not be many options. Let's say you record your lead vocals. You can change the tone, the pitch, and the spacing of your vocals. So now let's take a look at the drummer, I suppose, since it's a special track from Apple. Now you can select different drummers to suit the style of music that you're currently producing. Say for instance I select Darcy, and you'll have a bunch of presets you can select from so that it suits your track. You can go through more of these presets that are provided by the software, or we can change the drum loops settings manually, making it more simple, more complex, a softer dynamic, or you can get a louder dynamic. You can also increase the consistency or the number of occurrences of a certain instrument in the loop. For instance, hi-hats, kicks, and snares on the right side. And you can also remove or add certain instruments by clicking on the drum set in the middle. So that should sum up most of what is provided in the drummer. And go back to the track. Now let's look at loops. Loops are essentially samples provided by Apple Music. To use a loop, you can simply click on your desired loop. It could be anything. You can select from what you can see there. And once you've selected your desired loop, you just drag and drop it. And it will be adjusted to the key of your song. You can also go to the side panel and you can turn on the headphones so it only plays a certain track, or you can turn on the mute to mute certain tracks. I hope this sums up most of what is provided here, or at least most of the basics of the tracks. We won't be explaining some parts for the sake of time and because I don't use them that much either. So let's move on to the live loops. So there will be a bunch of loops provided by the software itself. This is just one of them. And you can click on the play button below to play a certain loop. And click on another one, play another loop. Play it again. You can also click on certain tracks to play them. Now let's record the loop. And it goes right into our track. Now let's create our own loop. Let's add drums to our own loop. So we simply click on record button and record the loop for the selected amount of measures that are provided. It's terribly offbeat, but we're doing it for the sake of demonstration. Go back to the new loops that we've created and we've got it here. Now we can go click the button on the top to quickly switch from the instrument panel to the live loops panel, and we can also click on the panel to the right to get back to our track progression bar, and we'll now look at effects. This is the automation or live edit of the song, so you can change change the sounds live with filters. There aren't that many, but then there's a way of editing it live, and by clicking record, your effects will be recorded onto your track. Now you can click on the question mark on the top right to look at other features provided. Click on the play to play. Click on the button to the left to start from the start of the track, and we can go back to the track by clicking on the top left. So I hope this sums up at least most of the basics that you will need, or at least some of them, for GarageBand Mobile. So most people will have the GarageBand icon sitting on their phone doing nothing. So I hope this helps with any of so you can use them sparingly in your free time. Although GarageBand Mobile, many say, is nowhere near a professional audio workstation, I still believe it still has a lot of potential for you to create quite a decent track, and you can always have fun with it without having to pay a single penny. So that's always the good side to it. When it comes to GarageBand Mobile, I wouldn't say I'm an expert in this matter, and I'm no professional, and I'm only talking all of this from my time using this app, and I may not be using technical terms, and I may be making mistakes, and you can fix them in the comments below if you see any of them. But I hope this provides at least some knowledge if you haven't used GarageBand Mobile before. As a final note to this video, I was not sponsored or supported by Apple or any of the creators. This was Jurgen, and I hope you have a nice day, and goodbye.